Sleep paralysis Redditors. What was the most terrifying experience you ever had? I heard this strange voice laughing. I couldn't open my eyes or move to see where it was coming from. Then I felt pressure on my back and heard and felt someone breathing on my neck. 2 out of 5 would not recommend to a friend. Are you saying the experience was a 2, 5, or are you saying 3 people would recommend it to a friend? This man's asking the right questions. 2, 5 dentists agree. I had a horrific nightmare where I was watching a man brutally murder someone. I woke up in peak fear, unable to move, eyes open, but I could still hear that man talking in my house. It scared me bad enough I made my husband go check the house for the boogeyman when I could finally move. Something like this, but with a teddy bear from hell eating everyone. I woke up from the fear, but could not even move my eyes to open. Very scary. The feeling as though someone's approaching me to hurt me, but I'm completely incapable of reacting to it. Same here, and I also heard a demonic sounding get out being screamed at me 5 or 6 times. I was awake, but couldn't open my eyes or move any part of my body. Why do children experience more psychological torture or real life events than adults? Is our mind just open to more as children? I'm curious, because I've had weird experiences too. Plus one I believe was a ghost where I still can't explain how. I was awake too. It wasn't a dream and I had school later, lol. Probably, because kids are still scared of things most adults grew out of, and their fear is much more easily triggered. Heard my mother's muffled voice repeatedly calling my name from outside my bedroom door, then a tonal shift that indicated she had entered the room. Footsteps grew louder as she slowly approached my bed until the source of the voice revealed itself to be an unnaturally tall demonic presence with glowing blue eyes. It just sort of mocked me as I laid there powerless to scream for help for what felt like an eternity. That was my first paralysis experience, and it occurred shortly after my first lucid dreaming episode when I was around 19. Also, the time I thought there was a clown fapping outside the window directly behind my headboard. He told me that he was going to bust a nut my head, torture and murder my girlfriend, then tickle me until I couldn't help but smile about it. The time I thought there was a clown fapping outside the window directly behind my headboard. He told me that he was going to bust a nut my head, torture and murder my girlfriend, then tickle me until I couldn't help but smile about it. I'm not sure anyone needed any more excuses for hating clowns more, but there you go. The first one sounds so creepy, a demonic creature imitating your mother. No thanks. But that second one sounds morbidly hilarious. I'm sorry. Nothing really happened, but it's so freaking scary being conscious, but not being to move. What's so freaking ever. Yeah, the first few paralyses are what's really scary. Those ones where you dream about your paralysis demon. Then you get used to it that the only thing that's scary is the lack of breathe. There was a time I had to pull myself out from 3 consecutive paralyses under 2 minutes. Inception. LOL yes, the slipping back into it can get annoying. I usually hear noises that gets louder and louder or feel a presence near me which gets closer. This makes me freak out as I try to desperately wake up and in turn causes me to have breathing issues. I can sometimes struggle so much to breathe that I fall back to sleep due to being exhausted. Wake up a couple minutes later, rinse and repeat. I find that sleep paralysis is a cycle that's so hard and exhausting to break. Like the moment I gain a shred of control, sleeping immediately gets me back to SP. I learned that when I get SP, the only way I break from the cycle is by switching the way I sleep. Like if my head is on this end of the bed, I force myself to get up and place my feet on that end instead. Does the quality of the mattress also affect this? I know having a terrible mattress can lead to depression among other issues. I'm experiencing this, but can't get a new mattress, plus it concaves my ribs. You lay on your mattress more than you use anything else you purchase in your entire life. Your mattress is literally like 1/3 of your life. Invest in it, even if it means cutting out some other luxuries. Door knocking. Hard, and in an endless loop of rapid burst followed by silence. Glued to my bed, unable to vocalize anything of course. If an episode of sleep paralysis could make you lose your mind, I get this kind of oral sleep paralysis too, much more often than visual. Ranges from extremely loud or knocking in the dead of night to non-existent burglars ransacking my home. Pleasant. The loudness of the sound is sometimes indescribable, I guess, because it originates from inside my brain. I had one where on the other side of the wall someone was repeating, "This is what happens when people are on their phones all the time." Repeated about 20x, then dead silence. Saw a massive spider lower itself from my bedroom light to my privates. Woke up right as I felt it squish in my grip. About 4 years ago I had been suffering from sleep paralysis almost every night for months, waking up constantly feeling like I was going to be attacked. When I would go into paralysis, it would just feel like there was evil thing in my room. Sometimes it was in the corner of my room, sometimes next to my bed, sometimes like it was hovering over the bed. It was a very masculine presence and it always gave off a vibe that it was furious at me. The thing I dreamed had a very distinct voice, one that I can't even imitate while thinking about it. I only know how it sounds when I go into paralysis, if that makes any sense. One night, I started to get that feeling and, in my head, I decided to fight back. So I started chanting in my head, "You're not real, you're not real, you're not real." The thing goes, "Oh yeah, watch this." As soon as it said that, my daughter, who was 3 at the time, started shrieking her head off in her room. My so and I leapt out of bed and rushed to her room, which was thankfully right next to ours. She was up and out of bed, on the opposite side of the room, screaming her head off, shaking in fear, and crying. I have never seen her that scared before or since. She just kept saying that someone was throwing skeletons at her. It freaked me right the hell out. Later on, once everything was calm and I was back in bed, I told whatever the thing was that I didn't care if it tormented me every night, but leave my daughter alone. In the 4 years since, she hasn't had another nightmare that scared her like that. My sleep paralysis hasn't been as bad as it was back then, though I still get occasional visits. I'll never challenge it again though. This is the scariest story here. You're like, come on. Shit. Regretting reading this now, lol. I would have moved and gotten an exorcism. This just gave me the chills. This shadow-like figure in the shape of a human was basically standing over me and choking me. Regret not calling him daddy. My story is pretty similar. A shadow demon-like creature was sitting on my chest sucking my soul out my body. Scariest part was it was in my room exactly the same way I see it. Even after I woke up it took a bit to figure out it was a dream. Dementor from Harry Potter? Woke up, couldn't move, noticed a yellow light at the foot of my bed, then several voices started talking to me and I could picture these like 2-foot alien dudes with yellow hair talking to me. Then passed right the frick back out when they were done. Saw a cat-sized rat scurrying around my room in the corner of my eye. I have no pets. You do now. I've had frequent paralyses over the last 2 years. First one I ever had, I didn't know what sleep paralysis was. I woke up in the middle of the night, can't move. I hear my dad wake up and get up in the other room. He comes over, I'm lying on my side facing the wall so I can't see him. He calls my name a couple of times to check if I'm asleep, then does the wave hand in front of eyes thing. And then nothing. I don't hear him move or go back to his room or anything, and I'm not really sure if it's my dad anymore. So I just lay there, facing the wall, unable to turn and check whatever the frick is behind me. Second one was the regular, lying on my back, shadowy figure standing by the bed kinda thing. I don't remember how many of those regular ones I had. Then I had one where I woke up, face up. There's a smoking shadowy skeleton mummy thing floating above me. At this point I was kinda used to the paralysis, so I just looked at it. But then it started to drain my soul from my face, kind of like the Dementor's kiss from HP, which was very uncomfortable. It felt like being electrocuted. All my muscles contracting, resulting in me kinda jolting up, but not really moving. Really tiring. I wake up, trying to catch my breath, when out of nowhere the Dementor thing comes back and starts over. It kept repeating like that. I remember thinking, please just let this end. When I finally woke up for real, I was more tired and sweaty than ever. The last one I had, I woke up. Middle of the night. There's a thing that looks like a black cat standing on my chest. I notice I can't move and then the cat starts clawing at me. As with the Dementor, I wake up only to see the cat again. I'm thinking to myself, goddamn this freaking thing again. I try my hardest to force my muscles to move and get up. I keep waking up and getting attacked over and over, angrier every time. I'm ready to scream, but I know this is a paralysis and I don't want my neighbors to think I'm insane, so I hold back. Finally I'm able to move. I get up from my bed. More black but invisible cats jumping at me. I'm furious. Alright, frick the neighbors. What the frick? Get the frick off me. Make my way to the corridor, screaming, pulling cats off me, throwing them away only for them to jump back at me. Why doesn't this end? I'm out of the bed, goddamn it. Alright, I don't give a frick what people think. I'm getting out of the apartment. Weighted down by all the cats, I make my way to the door. As I reach for the handle, I wake up in my bed, and it's daylight. So this one wasn't an actual paralysis, but a nightmare about an unending paralysis. Oh, I remembered. I had a paralysis before any of those. It wasn't scary at all. Kinda funny actually. I woke up. From my bed I can see my desk. My maths teacher is sitting on the desk with one of my classmates standing by. She's asking him to solve a problem and he doesn't know the answer. But I do. I'm paralyzed though. Eventually, with all my power, I'm able to raise up on my bed screaming the answer as I do. Armchair. I don't know why the answer to a maths problem was armchair, but screaming it as I woke up was pretty funny. D.